Faithful friends, the testimony I'm about to read has no name. And perhaps that is exactly why it disturbed me so deeply. The man who sent it to me is an American soldier still on active duty. He asked me not to reveal where he was, when it happened, or how he survived. But he allowed me to share one thing: what he saw when he crossed to the other side. Stay until the end, because in the conclusions, I will reveal to you exactly the two concrete gestures that were shown to him to protect you with ingredients that you probably already have in your kitchen right now. And the most extraordinary thing is this: every element of that revelation finds confirmation, word for word, in the Holy Scriptures that we will quote during this testimony. If you stay, you will understand. He spoke, but not with his mouth. His words entered inside me like hot iron plunged into water. I didn't hear them in my ears. I felt them under my skin, inside my chest, inside something I didn't even know I had. And the first thing he said was simple, terrible in its simplicity. It is not your time yet. I tried to move, but I no longer had a body in the way we understand it. I couldn't feel my legs. I couldn't feel the weight of my arms. Yet I was more conscious than I had ever been in my entire life. Every thought seemed illuminated by a cold and perfect light. There was no confusion. There was no sleep. There was no fatigue. Only truth. You must go back, and you must take with you what you are about to understand. It was then that everything changed. The space around me opened up as if reality were just a thin curtain. And I saw, not with my eyes. In that place, eyes do not exist. I saw directly inside of things. At first, cities appeared, immense, silent, quieter than any desert I have ever crossed. Empty streets, traffic lights changing colors without anyone passing by. Closed doors, dark shop windows. The wind dragged scraps of paper across the intersections, but no human voices could be heard. No children, no laughter, no life. Then I saw the houses. People sitting in the dark with a television turned on in front of them. Entire families who no longer spoke to one another. Husbands and wives separated by something invisible. Children looking at their parents like strangers. It was not a violent destruction. It was worse. It was slow, silent. It entered inside human beings inch by inch. I felt the presence speak again. Many will think that evil arrives with noise, but the most dangerous evil arrives in silence. In that instant, I saw very long white corridors, laboratories, sealed doors, men with faces covered by the cold light of the rooms. They moved their hands over glass containers inside of which something pulsed slowly, like live flesh immersed in liquid. These were not confused men. They were not madmen. And that was the horror of it. They were lucid, convinced they were right. What will be released upon the earth will not be born from nature alone. When he uttered those words, I felt a chill run through my chest. I saw maps, numbers, graphs. I saw men sitting around huge tables talking about human life the way people talk about merchandise. And behind them, I perceived something else, something that had no face but a presence, an ancient darkness. Intelligent, patient. The book of Revelation says the dragon gave him his power, his throne, and great authority. And there I understood that those words were not just poetic symbols. They were descriptions. The images began to hit me faster and faster. I saw hospitals full but silent, people isolated for months. Elderly people dying while looking at doors that never opened. Young people locked in their rooms, slowly losing the will to live. Women crying without knowing how to explain why. Men staring at the ceiling, until dawn, unable to feel peace for even a single minute. But the worst thing was not the physical pain. It was the desperation. It was the feeling that God had disappeared. I heard a woman scream in the silence of her own kitchen, "Why doesn't he help us?" And those words hurt me more than blood, more than the wounds received in war, because I understood that the real goal was not to destroy the human body. It was to break faith, to convince men that the sky was empty, that praying was useless, that humanity was alone. Many will lose faith, not because they will stop living, said the president, but because they will stop hoping. In that moment, I saw something I will never forget. A kind of dark mist slowly descending over the cities. It wasn't smoke. It wasn't a cloud. It was like sadness made alive. It entered houses without opening doors, and when it touched people, their eyes changed. They became empty, tired, cold. I saw men who once prayed kneeling only before screens. I saw people accepting anything just to feel safe again. I saw fear become a religion. And the president said, when men live only to save the body, they end up surrendering the soul. I was afraid, a real fear. Not the fear of combat, not what you feel when bullets pass close to you. This was different. It was the sudden feeling that evil was much closer than the world believes. Then the presence showed me something even more terrible. Empty churches, crosses removed from walls, people laughing at prayer as if it were madness. And in the midst of all this, I saw small groups of men and women gathered in houses with lit candles and worn Bibles in their hands. They prayed in low voices, while outside the world slowly fell into darkness. And around them, I saw light, real, alive, not huge, not spectacular, but strong enough to keep the darkness away. Whoever stands firm will see the light in the midst of darkness. Those words ran through me like fire. Then he showed me the remedy. I saw a family walking through their house in total silence. Not a normal silence, a heavy silence, almost alive, as if even the walls were waiting for something. The father walked slowly with a small bottle of holy water clenched in his hands. The mother followed behind him, praying in a low voice. I couldn't distinguish all of the words clearly. It was as if the prayer came from very far away, but I felt it had authority. Every sentence seemed to strike the air itself. They entered room by room, the kitchen, the bedrooms, the hallways. Every door was marked, every window, every bed. And then I saw the thing that made me freeze. In the corners of the house, there was something. I couldn't see it completely, but I perceived rapid, dark, almost animal movements. Shadows huddled in the darkest spots of the rooms. And every time that water was sprinkled, accompanied by prayer, those presences retreated back like insects hit by light. It was not imagination. I understood it immediately. That house was truly changing. The air itself became different, lighter, easier to breathe. The faces of the family changed as they moved forward. The child, who was trembling at first, stopped crying. The woman slowly raised her head again. Even the walls seemed less dark. And the presence said to me, "Many will seek shelters outside, but the first place to be purified is one's own home." In that instant, I understood something I had never understood while reading the Bible as a normal man. The scriptures were not just spiritual words. They were instructions, invocations, protection, preparation. Then the vision changed. I saw another family, poorer, sitting around a worn wooden table. On the table were simple things, common ingredients, stuff that millions of people have in their kitchens without even really looking at it. Bitter herbs, lemon, honey, garlic, hot water letting steam rise into the cold room, But the important thing was not the ingredients. It was what happened while they prepared them. They prayed. Not like someone reciting words by heart. They prayed like people who know they need God to stay alive. The mother slowly stirred the infusion while the father read a passage from scripture. And I saw something moving around them. Not a spectacular light, something deeper, a calm force, solid, as if that house had become invisible to something that was passing outside. Then I saw the same people days later. Outside, the world continued to fall into fear. People screamed, argued, slowly went mad, locked in their rooms. But that family was still standing firm. Tired, yes. Wounded, yes. But not broken. And then I understood. Those remedies were not just for the body. They were for the soul. They served to remind human beings where true protection comes from. The presence spoke again. The world will laugh at simple things because it has learned to worship only what is big, artificial, and expensive. But many of the things that will keep you standing firm have always been right beside you. When he said this, I saw fields, plants moved by the wind, elderly hands preparing ancient remedies, families praying together around poor tables. And I understood how far modern man had distanced himself from the things created by God. We had handed everything over to men, and now the world was becoming fragile because I had forgotten the Creator. The presence told me that in the end I would remember both the prayer and the ingredients very well, that they would come back to my mind one after another, and that I would have to share them. Then everything changed all at once. Like a gigantic hand grabbing me and dragging me downward, I felt the weight return inside me with an unbearable violence. After feeling that lightness re-entering the body was like being locked inside a stone cage. Every bone felt too tight, too heavy. I felt my ribs compressing my lungs. My joints burned like red hot iron driven into the flesh. Air entered my lungs like shattered glass. I coughed blood. I felt the metallic taste fill my mouth as pain tore through my chest. I opened my eyes and the light of the world hit me like a blade. For a few seconds I couldn't understand where I was. This reality seemed smaller after seeing the other one, slower, heavier. It took me days to decide whether to read this testimony publicly. Not because I doubted the person who sent it to me, but because some truths carry with them the weight of responsibility. And I feel this responsibility every time I open my mouth on this channel. What this man saw is not far from us. It is not an abstract prophecy to be interpreted 100 years from now. It is something that anyone looking with open eyes can already begin to glimpse. In the way people talk, or no longer talk. In the way trust has become more fragile. In the way loneliness has become a normal condition, even inside houses that are full of people. The part that I cannot get out of my head is that of the people who will lose their faith in the darkest moment. Not because they are weak, but because no one prepared them. No one told them this darkness is expected. Going through it does not mean God is not there. It means you are living the most important test of your existence. Jesus himself in the Gospel of John says, "In the world you will have tribulation, but take courage. I have overcome the world." He did not say you will not have tribulation. He said, take courage. And then there are those two gestures, the blessing of the house, the infusion, simple, concrete, within anyone's reach, yet loaded with a meaning that goes far beyond the physical act. They are an act of positioning. They are the way you indicate, the way you say, with your hands, with your body, with the ingredients you have in your kitchen. I know what side I stand on. I will tell you where to find everything in the section that follows. If you feel that what you heard today is not just a story, if you feel and know that something inside you has moved, then this message was for you. We have built a space, a reserved group, accessible only to those who truly want to walk with faith in this period. Not a place for the curious, not a place for debates, a place for those who are ready to receive, to share, and not to be left alone when the difficult times arrive. Inside, you will find the complete prayer for the blessing of the house, room by room, and the exact infusion that was revealed in this testimony, with every ingredient and its proportion. Normal ingredients you probably already have in your home, but put together with faith and intention, they produce something that the scriptures have confirmed for centuries. Every element has been there in the pages of the Bible all along. We were just waiting for the right moment to recognize it. I understand that there are also skeptical people on this channel, and that is fine. This information is not for everyone. It is for those who truly want it. If you are that person, write just one word to me in the comments. Loose. Only that one. I want to know how many people are truly ready. Not out of curiosity, but because they feel that the time has come not to be caught unprepared. You can find the link in the first pinned comment in the description. But beware, this space is not open to everyone. It is for those who are truly Christian, for those who want to walk seriously, without judgment, in a community of true solidarity. If you are that person, we are waiting for you. Otherwise, don't do it. He who has ears to hear, let him hear. For other videos like this one, I recommend these videos here. See you on the other side.